Hoe gaat dat zijn?
Ja, spannend natuurlijk. Ja, ik hoop natuurlijk dat hij gewoon weer een fenomenale tijd rijdt en dat hij gewoon eerste wordt. Maar ja, dat moeten we dan nog even zien.
Al gaan de dromen van de jeugdvrienden inmiddels stiekem altijd iets ver.
Nou ja, ik wil niet op de zaak vooruit lopen, maar Olympische Spelen, wie weet dat hij dat mag waarmaken. Maar geen verlies in de mogen. Ik probeer het gewoon niet op doen.
Operation in Ukraine. He argued that things were getting better on the front lines. The Direct Line program, which aired on most major networks for more than 4 hours, opened with President Putin reminding Russians, the existence of our country without sovereignty is unthinkable. It will just cease to exist. He went on to say that Russia's economy was solid at a time of war, and the conversation quickly shifted to Ukraine. He revealed at one time that Russia currently has 617,000 troops fighting in Ukraine. He further stated that, in addition to the 300,000 persons called up for service last year, another 486,000 have voluntarily signed up as contract soldiers. The number of our warriors prepared to protect the interests of the motherland with weapons in their hands is growing, he stated. By the end of this year, there will be slightly under 500,000 men. Why do we require a mobilization? He did not specify the number of military casualties, but he did reveal that youngsters from his near circle had fought for so-called private military groups, and a number of persons close to me had died. According to a confidential intelligence study, released this week, 315,000 Russian soldiers have been killed or injured since the conflict began, accounting for about 90% of Russia's military force at the time of the invasion. The lengthy event, which was canceled last year, includes questions from regular Russians as well as journalists in the studio. The lengthy event, which was canceled last year, includes questions from regular Russians as well as journalists in the studio. Aside from the spontaneous questions offered to Mr. Putin by Russian and international journalists, a reported 2 million questions were submitted by ordinary Russians for the event and meticulously reviewed beforehand. A war reporter for the Russian Daily Izvestia in occupied Luhansk, eastern Ukraine, questioned Mr. Putin about Ukraine's recent footing on the Russian-controlled east bank of the Dnipro River. President Putin described Ukraine's military triumph in a limited region as a last-ditch effort by Ukraine to break through to Crimea, explained that Russian forces decided to retire several meters into wooded areas to rescue our lads. He went on to say that Kyiv's major goal is to demonstrate to the West that it requires additional military financing. I'm not sure why they're doing it. They're forcing their people to die, and it's a one-way trip for Ukrainian soldiers. The grounds for this are political, as Ukrainian leaders are pleading with foreign governments for assistance. Mr. Putin stated that Ukraine's friends' backing was dwindling. Inside Putin's meticulously organized Phone in, he said. Today Ukraine produces almost nothing. Excuse me vulgarity, but everything is being given away for free. However, those freebies may expire at some point, and it appears that they are running out. During Putin's speech, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg held a press conference at the alliance's headquarters in Brussels, warning that if Putin prevails in Ukraine, there is a genuine risk that his aggression may not finish there. Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky warned the EU summit that Mr. Putin will exploit the U.S. inaction on the Ukraine conflict against them. People in Europe will not gain if Moscow receives a pass from Brussels in the shape of anti-Ukraine steps. Almost certainly is against Ukraine, as well as Europe as a whole, Mr. Zelensky stated this via video with Mr. Putin went on to say that Russian soldiers have the upper hand on the Ukrainian front lines. To put it mildly, our armed forces are improving their situation practically throughout the entire line of contact, he stated during his marathon news conference. There has been minimal movement on the front lines in recent months, but Russia is focusing on two eastern Donetsk region towns, Mariinka and Avdiivka. Despite Western economic sanctions and political isolation as a result of its invasion of Ukraine, Mr. Putin claimed that Russia could go forward. Americans imprisoned in Russia. Mr. Putin also discussed Russia's relations with the United States and the European Union. He referred to the United States as an important country, but accused of unfairness. He encouraged the U.S. to respect other people and countries, adding that Russia was ready to resume relations with its economy. The New York Times' Valerie Hopkins asked Russian President Vladimir Putin what would take for Russia to release two American citizens imprisoned in Russia. Wall Street Journal writer Evan Hirsch quoted both men are wrongfully incarcerated in the